Today I want to talk to you about fear. Some say that money is the root of all evil. Some say that greed is the root of all evil. I firmly believe that fear is the root of all evil. The fear of what you don't know, the fear of what you can't comprehend. It was fear that had a whole race enslaved for hundreds of years. It's fear that spurs world wars. It's fear that has you look at the person next to you and not and judge them without knowing who they are and not even taking the time to understand who they are. That's fear. The worst fear is a fear within ourselves. How many ideas have you had that you just didn't follow through with because you're afraid to fail? How many times we looked at somebody great do something and say or think to ourselves that we can do better? Well, then why don't you? Because you're afraid to fail. The difference between the people that are successful and the people that are not successful isn't about background, it isn't about circumstance, it's about the fear and how to manage that fear. You're always going to have fear. From the time you're a child, you don't have fear at all. When you're a kid, you don't know any, you just do it and say what you want. The older you get, the more you get into the world, the more that fear creeps in. It's going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. You have two things you can do with fear. You can let it consume you. You can let it push you. To those of you that have children, how many times have you told your kids, it's okay if you don't win as long as you try, as long as you tried your best? Well, why aren't you trying your best to stretch yourself? Why do you have all these ideas that you're not pursuing because you're afraid to fail? You're just telling your kid that it's okay, not to win, but as long as you try, but you're not even trying. So I challenge you all to let go of this fear. Let it use it positively. You have two ways, like I said, you have two ways of the fear. Use it to spur you along. Don't use it to hold you back. I would much rather trade out a life of failed attempts, a life of question marks for a life of failed attempts. Because eventually I will hit on that attempt. It only takes one time. I challenge you to push yourself. You owe it to yourself, as long as you have breath in your body, to be all that you can be and go as far as you can go. If you like to cook, then pursue it fully. Don't be afraid of, well, what if I'm not good enough? You're never going to know unless you go for it. We have so many gifts. We all have so many gifts within us. And the difference between the ones that get to a certain place and the ones that don't is because they take advantage of those gifts. They pursue it. They pursue those gifts and they follow through with them. No matter what. No matter who's laughing at you, no matter who thinks, who has something to say about you, or who has something to say, it doesn't matter. Not to the successful people. They push on and they follow through no matter what. So let's do that. We can all be on that level. We can all be whatever it is we want to be. We just have to let go of the fear and use it to push us. Use it to push us. I challenge you to take that fear and redirect it. Instead of being afraid to fail, be afraid of what will happen if you don't try. That's the way to use your fear. If you do not try, what's going to happen to you? What will become of your life? Happy Sunday.